oscillate. Don't worry about those.
Okay.
All right, everyone, welcome to another edition of Chamber Chat. I'm your host, Jeff Griffin, president of the Peoria Area Chamber of Commerce. With us today, Jerelene Ross and Pat Hall, and they are chairs of Taste of Peoria this year, and they are with PACE.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Got it. So listen, I know what PACE is, and I know a lot of our viewers do, but maybe one of you give us a brief elevator speech of what PACE does in Peoria.
Okay. Basically what we do is we put on events where we can raise money to help put on the Santa Claus Parade. It also pays for our 2 storage units that we store all the floats. Also keep up any of our equipment that we have is stored in those bins. So that's what a lot of the money goes to.
And then we also do the Monday and Wednesday performances at the courthouse all summer.
Okay.
And the money supports the performers that we bring in to perform there for the lunch hours.
Gotcha. And PACE stands for?
Peoria Area Community Events.
Peoria Area Community Events. So I know when I moved here about 4 years ago now to run the chamber, one of my questions was, who does all the events? Because a lot of communities, chambers of commerce do a lot of events.
Right.
And they said, well, there's this organization called PACE. And I'm like, thank you. That's awesome. That's the way it needs to. People take a lot of this. I shouldn't say people take. Sometimes communities can take things for granted that you say the concerts and the Santa Claus Parade, all those traditions that we get used to and we enjoy as part of our community.
Right.
So PACE is all volunteers or they're paid staff as well?
All volunteers.
And how many volunteers do you guys have?
Right now we have a board of 26.
Okay.
And we are definitely recruiting. We're open for more.
Okay.
So we can take up to 33 people. So anybody out there that want to join us, please look us up.
How do people get a hold of you if they like?
We have an email address on the Peoria Events.
Okay.
PeoriaEvents.com.
PeoriaEvents.com. And then you can access that through the chamber. It's here right in front of me. Right. And you can access that through the chamber as well, PeoriaEvents.com. So we have all these volunteers, this whole list of events here. I don't want to miss out on anything. So let's highlight, I guess you want to highlight the Taste of Peoria first and run through what all's going on.
That'd be great. Taste of Peoria is Wednesday, August 9th. Pat and I are getting ready for that right as we speak. Right now, we currently have 30 restaurants that are going to participate this year. Of the 38, we have 6 returning new vendors from last year. And right now, we currently have 4 new vendors that are going to participate this year.
Okay. And how do you go about recruiting? You say 30 restaurants. And
yes.
So for this year, that roster is probably set. If people want to participate in that for next year, they can, or can they still get in?
They can still get in.
Okay.
They just won't make the advertisement.
Gotcha.
Advertisement just went. Pat and I put that together. Just submitted that on yesterday.
Okay.
So right now, if you want to get in, you can still participate. Just reach out to us by our email address, and we can get you still a spot into Taste. It's just that you won't be advertised.
Gotcha. So Pat, how do you get these restaurants recruited? A lot of return customers, it sounds like, but what's that process look like?
We actually have an email for Taste of Peoria, tasteofpeoria@peoriaevents.com. They can send us an email, and we'll get back to them. Jerry and I work on a mailing that we send out, and then word of mouth. We
Right.
ask all our board members any new business in town. We try to give them a year in business before we, and we get information from all different sources
Right.
of restaurants.
Because what's the process? I mean, like you said, not every restaurant, if they're brand new or whatever, getting their feet on the ground, they want to get a little more established clientele. But then what's the process? We go down, you buy tickets, you get to taste a bunch of food.
Right. For the night of taste?
Yeah.
Well, for the restaurants, it's a lot bigger because they start like a week before getting stuff ready. They come in on Tuesday and set up, most of them, and Wednesday. And then the night of taste, we're open from 4 to 11.
Okay.
You buy tokens at the token booth. Everything's $1 to $3. So, and then we have entertainment all evening. This year we have the Todd Kelly Jazz Quartet that opens at 4:30. Then Stone Cold Cowboys comes on at 6:30. We have an awards presentation at 8. And then United Groove Theory comes on at 9.
Gotcha.
So, and we've changed up the layout a little bit. We've listened to people. It's been a little congested down there in the past. So we're trying to spread it out into the field this year and make it, so we hope it goes well for people. And we value all the feedback that people give us, and we try to react to it. So
yeah, that's the way you have to do it. We survey everything we do. We send surveys out.
Great.
It's always good to hear.
Right.
We may send 800 of them out for Thanksgiving dinner. You get 30 back, but still, there are 30
Yes.
people that have an opinion. So that's good.
And then,
so, go
there
ahead.
was one other thing I wanted to say.
Yeah.
We will be running the shuttle again this year because we realize that parking is, for some people, especially the elder people, walking the distance. So we run a shuttle that goes up Hamilton to the Civic Center, and so that we can pick up people that want to use the parking deck.
Okay.
And then it's going to come down and go to Washington to State Street, and then come all the way along Water, and we'll pick up people wherever but they have to come out to Water. We used to send them into that parking lot by running Central down there and Hooters, but it gets so crowded that the shuttle couldn't get through last year.
Got you. And that's free? The shuttle will be free?
Yeah.
So are they going to, like for 4th of July this year, there were some new rules downtown on Water Street. Is that going to affect Taste of Peoria at all? Or not? It's not as large of an event, so probably not.
No, it's not.
Because they got all
the
of
same.
I think that was just because of the size of the crowd for the 4th of July. It worked out great because they had all of Water Street closed down for pedestrian. But I think for Taste of Peoria, we're not going to have to.
We're a contained area.
Right.
So you aren't going to, we have it cordoned off so that you can't actually get a car in there.
Gotcha.
I think that's kind of what they were worried about is copycat stuff happening in Peoria, and they're going to not let it happen.
So, there's a whole list of 2017 events here. Is the Taste of Peoria the largest event?
No.
No?
I think Steamboat.
Steamboat.
The Labor Day Parade is very big.
Okay.
It's mostly union people. Santa Parade and You'll Like Peoria are growing. So it's our favorite event, A lot of the
Taste is?
people.
It's probably the funnest event.
Yeah.
I think we
taste.
have the
Yeah.
taste. Yeah, it's the most fun.
Is it now? Pace generates revenue, and the restaurants also generate revenue off of sales. Or
That is correct.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good deal for everyone
Yeah,
involved.
we just get a certain percentage. They
Fine.
pay a fee. The restaurants pay a fee to be in the taste,
Okay.
and then we get a percentage of what they sell. That they make good money, and they get advertising.
Right. Exactly. So, how long have you guys both been involved with Pace?
I've been with the board 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how long
What
I've.
is it?
Yeah.
What is, I know, because you mentioned the Labor Day parade. I know I was down there with my children, and then, of course, I had to get a cool beverage and a barbecue sandwich after the parade. You know?
Right.
And I see always so many familiar faces volunteering their time to work the beer garden or whatever. And we really appreciate what you guys do. So, you want to run through some of the other events so people know what else we have going on? What else is coming up?
Labor Day, the Labor Day parade, as we mentioned, is on Labor Day. So after
helpful.
so after all the laborers walk through Peoria, they end up on the riverfront. And what we do is, of course, we have a live band. We set up entertainment for them. Also, we do have a few vendors. It's not as many, of course,
Right.
as Taste. There's usually about 4 or 5 vendors. And then, once again, our volunteers, we come out and we serve them for most of the day.
Right. And see what people, I'll be honest, I've only been in town 3.5 years, but that was the first Labor Day parade I went to. And my kids are there, let's go to Labor Day parade.
Sure.
It was great. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I know a lot of the folks in the parade and so forth, but then the actual picnic portion, you just had a nice little variety. I think there was some barbecue, some other
Absolutely.
stuff.
Ice cream.
Yep,
Sure.
yep.
Yeah,
There was
definitely.
just enough to have some variety, but not so much because, to overflood the situation. We had a good time.
Great. Super.
Yeah, and what's this Tailgate and Tall Boys Music Festival? This is over in celebration of my birthday weekend, I see, September 28th. Tell us
Go
about
ahead.
it.
Okay. Pace has partnered with Tailgate and Tall Boys to help try to get this festival off the ground. We're providing volunteer support for them, and then they helped us with Steamboat Days and helped us bring in a larger band, and we're trying to team up with them. We help them with several of their other. So this is a big music festival that'll happen. They're bringing in, is it 2 or 3 days worth of
3
music?
days.
3 days of music, and it'll be on the riverfront. And if you were downtown at all this past weekend, they had a big concert down there, and it went very well. Pace helped them with that one too, and I think it's going to be a fun weekend.
Right. I love seeing actually where we sit presently. In a few months, this building is all going to be gone, you know.
Right.
And I love seeing the riverfront used for recreation and family entertainment because people, I know you guys get this, and sometimes we lose sight of it. The apartments and condos down here are really filling up nicely with young professionals, with retirees, and kind of look at that as their front yard, you know, and a place they can go and have recreation and so forth, but also to get people moving downtown and spending the night down there.
And it's also bringing people in. There was a lot of people. We were helping in the beverage booth this weekend, and IDs from Iowa, Missouri, Indiana, Wisconsin.
And see, that's another point that gets lost is when you start, because I see license plates, just people coming to see the spirit of Peoria, you know, in our parking lot. Right. And you do get from the bordering states. And not only that, the bordering communities, you know, whether you're in Morton, Washington, wherever, we need the whole region to recognize downtown Peoria is a real key to our region in terms of recreation and economic growth. So we've got a couple more minutes here to make sure, you know, the granddaddy of them all, I guess, is we can't let this interview go without talking about Santa Claus, right? That's been going on only 130 years. Right. If anyone is not aware of that tradition, tell us about the Santa Claus Parade.
Well, once again, that's a parade. We start right after Labor Day, 1st of October. We start getting the floats ready. We go in and get them cleaned up and see if they need repairs. If there's one that we need to, you know, redo, we'll do any of that. So we start that in October, and we work on that right up until the parade, which is, of course, right after Thanksgiving. So once again, all our volunteers, we even seek other volunteers in the community, also help us with the Santa Claus Parade. They've been doing it for years, and they just love that event. Yeah. So they'll come out and help us with new uniforms, updating costumes. So that's just a great thing, and we love doing that because you love to see all the children come out and enjoy.
The tradition is unbelievable, and this year is the 130th.
Yes, sir.
The longest running holiday parade in the country.
Yes, sir.
We need to get as much exposure for that as possible. I don't know what that means, but we'll talk after the interview a little bit about how the Chamber can help get that promoted. I know you get 30,000 people to the event. I know it's a fantastic community celebration. So thank you for everything you guys do for the community and to keep pace moving along.
Great.
Yes,
well, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Anything else you want the listeners to know about before we wrap things up? Go ahead.
Yeah, if they want to, there is a link on the PeoriaEvents.com website. If you'd like to volunteer, if you want more information, click through our website, and we will get back to you, and would love to have you volunteering and helping us out.
Listen, PACE and Chambers of Commerce, we only exist because of volunteers, you know, and we need help in doing these things. You guys have a great team. PeoriaEvents.com is where you want to head up. And thank you guys for all you do, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
PeoriaLife.com